Where are you from? Are you from Indiana?
No, I went to college in Purdue, which was in Indiana, but I'm from California. But born here.
Born
in New York, moved to California, most of my life there, then college, Indiana, now back in New York.
Bay Area?
Bay Area.
Where?
Palo Alto.
Palo Alto.
Yes.
James Franco.
Yes, and
Stanford.
Jeremy Lin. And
Jeremy Lin.
Devontae Adams. Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, a lot of. Do you know Jeremy Lin?
No, I wish. That would be cool. He was. I went to the same high school as him. He was maybe 8 years prior. Yeah. And then Devontae Adams was 6 years prior. Which is cool. They won the state championship, my high school team. And Devontae Adams now wide receiver on the. He got reunited with maybe the Steelers. I don't know where he's at. I mean, maybe even retired, but
Jeremy Lin's retired.
Yeah, he just recently retired.
Just retired.
Very sad.
That was
former Nick.
Former Nick. Oh my God, that Linsanity is still. I mean, last year the playoff run was awesome, and I'm excited for this season. But I don't think anything will ever top Linsanity. I mean,
were you here in the city when that was happening?
No, I was in Harrisburg.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, yeah. I moved here in 2019, so. What did you study at Purdue?
I studied industrial engineering, so I'm an industrial engineer.
Did you do anything with
that?
Did you ever had I mean, you were doing some engineering here, like fixing the soundboard.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this was not taught at my school. No,
I also know that is not industrial.
Yes, very different things. Dude, that is really creepy that people just stare at you while you're doing this. I guess not creepy. I guess it's obvious there's a window here for that to happen. But I did an internship my junior year at General Electric in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And that was like industrial engineering. I was like doing like floor planning and I guess like optimizing their manufacturing process. And I did not like it. So I was like, I am going to get a job in tech. That's what I'm going to go do. And I did get that when I first moved here. And then I got fired like 6 months in. And then I was like, all right, I guess I'll be a math tutor. That's what I've been doing.
That's what you've been doing since?
Yeah, basically. Which, regrettably so, I should get a job like in an office again.
But you're that one unemployed friend.
I am that one unemployed friend. I guess a lie. Technically lying.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked you, because I was like, who's going to be free at 11:30 Tuesday?
It's going to be
that one unemployed friend. Who freaked out?
I guess it's a semi-lie. I've been tutoring like part-time. I've been working at this bar part-time, and I've been like video editing part-time. But
so a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
I'm in a similar boat.
What are you doing right now?
Very part-time barista.
Yep.
Substitute teaching,
yep.
Dog walking, dog sitting.
The classics.
Yeah.
This is like the common classic right here.
Yeah.
I know so many dog walkers. I know so many substitute teachers, so many baristas.
Yeah, it's all the things where you can just it's jobs where you cannot show up and everything's fine.
maybe not substitute teaching. I mean that's as important to children.
No, that's actually the one where it's the easiest to not show up. Because it's like, what are you gonna do? Fire me? I don't really work here.
That's a good point.
Barista is the one where, because there have been times where I'm like working alone and it's like, well, if I don't show up, people, they're gonna get their coffee from one of the other 8,000 coffee shops in the city?
Yeah.
Like,
where are they gonna get their $9 latte?
If anything, I guess dog sitting, that one is important because the dog could die.
Nah. It's got a shit and piss. It'll shit and piss inside, and it'll break into the pantry.
It'll shit and piss inside. It'll eat its shit. It'll drink its piss.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. They used to be wolves, man.
They were wolves.
Wolves.
Dude, we used to be wolves, man. You think about it? You ever think about it like that?
I don't know if that's true. We used to be apes. I think about that a lot. We lost a lot of you know how like apes.
We used to be fish. We used to be fish.
Dude, so much stuff we used to be.
Yeah.
Well, we should be those again. I'm sure I miss swimming like that, and I always am envious of apes and how they can use their feet as hands.
I think we could do that.
No.
I think we could learn.
I guess there's the people who like fire bow and arrows with their feet. But
yeah, it's just something we don't need to do.
I would like that.
And dogs use their hands as feet.
That famously. I guess so. And I guess they're legs as legs. And
yeah.
We used to have tails.
We did used to have tails.
Yeah. What is this podcast about?
This is the most. This is the. You know what I found out recently? We'll get to the actual podcast. We'll get to it in a minute. We've only been talking for 7 minutes, but
we've covered so much ground.
Corgis.
Corgis.
Sometimes you know how they cut the tails.
I didn't know they cut those tails.
They are sometimes naturally tailless now.
Whoa.
Because of like breeding and whatever we did to fucking do that to them. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, but anyway, yes, this podcast is called Why Aren't You More Famous? It's where I, a non-famous comedian, interview my friends who are also not famous. We really get down to the nitty-gritty of why no one knows who we are.
Okay, I like this, yes.
When did you start doing stand-up?
I guess I started doing stand-up at Purdue in Indiana. So if we're doing first time ever doing an open mic, that would be my freshman year, which would be 2018 or 19, I think. But then I feel like I only...
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Oh, I thought we were the same age. You're younger. You're a young boy. I'm 29.
Why do people do this? Why do people like, you 24, what are you, fucking child? I'm like, come on, we're like 4 years apart.
Yeah, we are, yeah. but that's a difference of like your freshman year. You know, that was my senior year. You know.
That's true.
You know, I could have groomed you.
Adam, that's why you're not famous. You're not grooming enough. Groom more. I guess you could have. I think I was an autonomous human by the time I was a freshman. I would actually say that's not true. Sophomore year, I was like, okay, I kind of get who I am now. Freshman year, I was still pretty stupid.
So you started doing stand. So it was your freshman year. So it was like 2018 to 19.
Yeah, and I did like 3 mics that year, and then my sophomore year was the COVID year, so there was like basically no stand-up that happened. And then my junior year, similarly, we did like, I was part of the stand-up club at Purdue. And we had like some mics where you had to wear a mask and gloves and you were outside. So it was the worst version of comedy possible, I think.
Jesus, yeah, I never did any of it because I moved here in 2019,
right?
Like right after I graduated, and then COVID happened, and I just went back home. Like I didn't stay here.
Yeah.
During COVID, which I sometimes regret, because it would have been cool to be like, yeah, I toughed it out, lived in New York, but like, I didn't.
Wait, did you do stand up in 2019 before the pandemic happened?
Yeah, so I started in college also. I started my sophomore year of college, so that was 2017.
And do you count? I feel like I don't count. I wasn't really doing stand up at like a consistent level until maybe my senior year when we had like a mic every week, and I was like trying to do that.
I was doing it like 3 times a week.
Oh shit!
In college, yeah, because there were like 3 mics a week in Burlington.
Oh, and you go out to the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
The city, like Burlington's so small,
right?
Like, so it's like I would walk, like downtown is like 15 minutes from campus, so it's like hardly a city.
Yeah, but you were doing it 3 nights.
But I was doing it 3 nights
with real people.
With real people,
okay,
yes, who were like not. Yeah. Like, there were some other students that did it, but yeah, for the most part, it was like people in their 20s, 30s, 40s.
I think that's like the real comedy experience, because I did comedy in a club on college campus in front of other students, which is like you're pandering and everyone's like, it's your friends, so they just love everything. Like, calculus class, what's up with that? They're like, oh right. Shit, I'm in calculus class. And then I came moved to New York and I did an open mic here the first time, and I was like, oh, I don't understand what comedy is at all.
So when did you move here?
I moved here in 2022. So I've been doing stand-up in New York for like three years.
Okay.
And that's like consistently I've been like doing it for 3 years, and I'm like, okay, I've actually like I get the idea of what this is now.
I do kind of so I like when people ask how long I've been doing stand-up, I say like 8 years.
Yeah.
Because I count from when I first started, but there's in terms of consistency, just because like I'm as COVID happened, like I wasn't doing it for a year. So really, I've been doing it consistently for 4 years.
I think that's the number that should matter, because someone who's done stand-up 8 years, but they've done 10 mics in those 8 years, you're like, all right, well, that's not really
right. I guess COVID like fucks everything up in terms of that, of just like I had to take a year and a half off. But so you moved here 2022. What were you? That was like right after you graduated?
Right after I graduated, I like got a job here, this tech job, and I was like, I'm gonna move here. I wanted to like do stand up, and like New York City's the best place to do that. And I also like want to live in the city, so I moved here and I was doing that. And I had been in New York the previous summer for like an internship, which is how I got the job. And I met some people there, so I had some like I knew like some people here, so that was like the thought process behind it. The first person I ever met actually was Carlos.
Right. Yeah.
So I met Carlos here in New York, and which his wedding's coming up pretty soon.
His wedding is.
I'll see you there. I assume.
You will see me. I gotta go. I gotta go buy a suit. I think I'm gonna go buy a suit.
Oh,
after
sick,
this.
dude.
You wanna come suit shopping?
We're gonna go suit shopping.
I don't know. I'll see what's around. See what's around. See what's
That's
in the
a
area.
very expensive thought process. But sure, that sounds amazing.
Okay.
I bought a suit off ASOS for my first wedding because my first one of my friends got married, and or Max Hornstein.
Yeah. No. Oh, I didn't know he was married.
He got married in Minnesota. It's the first wedding I've been to of a friend, and I had to buy this suit. It was really exciting. Is it suits? I thought it was like business or like casual or whatever.
Well, I'm in the wedding party, so
Oh,
I
so
need,
you gotta wear a
a
suit.
black suit, and I only have a blue suit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're a Navy guy.
I'm a Navy guy. Yeah. Carlos is trying to get me to join the Marines.
He's more of an Air Force fellow.
Yeah.
Okay, but I did actually wanted to. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you were here in 2019 before the pandemic. How was the stand-up scene? Was it like drastically different than what it is now?
It was definitely a lot different. I mean, in terms of like just people, you know, it was different people. I felt that it was, and it's maybe gotten back to this a little bit, but I felt like it was a little bit colder to people who are new and like much harder.
In 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm only comparing that to when I came back in 2021, and I think that there was something very specific about that year and like doing stand-up in the city where everyone was really excited to just be back.
Yes, yeah.
And so I do think, you know, now that we're 4 years past that, I think from meeting people where I think it has kind of gotten back to that place of like the mics are a little clicky and, you know, and it's just the difference now is that I'm like in, you know, like I know people, like I've been here long enough to like be like, people at the very least know who I am and are like, I'm fine, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like how it 2019 to 2021 felt very different in terms of like what the stand-up scene was like. Like 2021, it felt like everyone was my age.
Yeah.
And also like everyone was just so excited to be doing stand-up, to be seeing stand-up, to be in public, to be hanging out with people that like, I don't know that, I mean, I love doing stand-up, I love comedy, but I don't know that it will ever be as fun as it was that year.
Like right after the pandemic, or after things started to open again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely was like an electricity to it.
And I think
yeah,
when you moved here in 2022, I think it was still
there was
like that.
I
What was
totally
your
caught the
experience?
buzz.
What was your experience like when you moved here in 2022?
It was I mean, I knew Carlos, and when I met him in the summer the year before, and this was 2021 when things were starting to kind of open back up.
You were just visiting that summer?
I was just there for an internship.
Okay.
So
Right.
like 3 months or whatever. And I was like throwing myself at these like Manhattan mics basically, and which is a fucking, it's a crazy thing to go from your friends in a college campus to like the Grizzly Pear on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just a night and day where you're like, oh my god, I'm like the worst comedian that's ever existed. I don't even understand what comedy is, and it's truly embarrassing. That 3 months was it was just bad. But by the time I moved in 2022, Carlos had like gone to more of the Brooklyn scene. And he said, "You got to come to this. It's way better."
Yeah.
And then I would get into a mic and I was like, "This is fucking nuts. Like this is like way more supportive. This like makes more sense to me." But I do think by the time I was there, it was kind of getting a little cliquey again. Like I was grateful that I knew these people, but I remember when I first went to a Pine Box mic, like you can't talk to anyone unless you're someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so that felt like very isolated in a way.
Yeah, and I kind of skipped the Manhattan mic thing just because I knew people from Vermont who were like already in Brooklyn, and so like I would ask them like what mics to go to, and they would sort of be like Brooklyn mics, you know, like Pine Box, etc. But I also in terms of the clickiness, one other thing about the difference between 2019 and 2021. A lot of the older comics who were sort of like running the mics,
Yeah.
they had either taken off online, and so they were past mics, or like quit comedy, or just been like, I don't want to go to mics anymore.
Yeah.
And so it was like like really a fully different scene when I came back in 2021, where like there was certainly some overlap of like people that I saw, but for the most part, it was a lot of new people, a lot of younger people. Um, yeah, what anybody that you did comedy with in college? Anybody still doing it?
Yeah. My roommate JT Singh, very funny guy. He's still doing comedy. We live together. And he was the only one from my college that at least ended up in New York and doing stand up. So yeah, him and I. And then I'm trying to think of like I don't know. There are not people from the Midwest. I think ended up moving to New York. So I know maybe like a handful of people from my college who ended up here. What about from you? I'm sure for you, there's a lot more that ended up here in New York.
Yeah, not. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of Vermont people. Most of them didn't go to UVM,
Right.
but yeah, there's a lot. I mean, like Liam, Ash Diggs, Carl Sonnefeld,
Max Higgins,
Max Higgins. Max and I didn't overlap at all. We actually went to UVM together, and we had class together. Did not remember each other. I had a pretty good excuse for not remembering him, with being different name and gender.
Right. You have a good excuse for that.
But so Max and I we did go to UVM together, but I didn't really know each other. And he stayed in Burlington after college, and so he didn't start doing stand up until I'd already left.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Max was also one of the first people that I met here in New York when I first moved here. I went to the Easy Lover mic in Brooklyn, and we just like hit it off in conversation. And I think the first person I met besides Carlos in New York
was Max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Max is great. Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod.
And it's cool that there is sort of like this Vermont, New York community where like even so like people like Carmen Lagala was like one of the first people from Vermont.
I didn't know she was from Vermont.
Yeah, and so we didn't overlap at all. She'd already been here for a few years by the time I even started in Vermont. But there's just like that community where like you're just like, I moved here from Vermont, and like we know the same people, so it's great. It's a really nice thing to have here, and I think that made it a little bit easier moving here. Yeah. Initially, just being like, I know at least like a few people in comedy.
It totally helps because like when you're just starting and you're trying to meet people, it is impossible to know. Like I have my other roommate Ziad. He started comedy. I mean, I'd say with me, but he started comedy in New York, knowing no one.
Yeah.
And it's like the people he was hanging out with, he like literally would say, "Oh, these people suck," or like they're like not the right people to hang out with, or I should have known. I should have been going to these things instead of this. Like there was no guidance for him. So his first couple months of comedy is like way different than my perspective. But I am curious. 2019, I feel like the clip culture and social media following is like so much bigger now than it was back then. I would say the pandemic kind of like I don't know what the word is. I guess it started kind of that necessary because you had to like post online because no one could interact in person.
I mean, TikTok was barely a thing.
Right. People were doing like music dances on TikTok.
TikTok was barely a thing. Instagram Reels did not exist yet. You could video on Instagram was new, and I mean like how many followers you had, like that's always been a thing, but it was not the status symbol that it is now, and it was
so in 2019 like I imagine like the people like the big dogs, it's just like, oh, these people have been doing stand-up for a while and like kind of like veterans in the scene.
It was much more like credits based than
it sounds like Star Wars credits based.
But it was much more like it's funny. It was much more like, oh, this guy has done that. Where like now like the amount of followers that you have is a credit.
Yeah.
In itself without
the credit is TikTok. You've seen them on TikTok.
Which that one's always funny to me because everybody like flubs their credits a little bit, and it'll be like people who have performed at like a don't tell comedy show will use that as a credit, and it's like, well that's misleading because you don't have a don't tell set.
Do you have a credit that you ask people to use when you go up?
I usually just use the podcast just because I'm like, maybe somebody will listen to it.
Yeah.
But the TikTok one is like, we've all been seen on TikTok. You know what I mean?
We've all been bullied on TikTok.
Right, but like we all have TikTok. But yeah, clip culture really started because like YouTube, there were a few comics that had like blown up off YouTube, like Schultz and Sam Morril, but that was like a very recent thing. So that was kind of starting to happen, and then COVID really changed that because then it was like if you can post clips, you can that's how we're consuming everything now, and it was the only way to consume stand-up. And the like people you meet early on in comedy, I feel like it's very much like it's like the friends you have freshman year of college, where it's just like they're not necessarily people you're gonna be friends with. It's just like that's who's on your floor,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And so like I definitely in 2019 there were people that I met in 2019 where I was like, well, these are gonna be my friends, and then it's like maybe we see each other, you know, if they're still doing comedy, we'll see each other once every few months.
Yes, exactly. That's a really good point. Yeah, my first year in comedy, the people I was hanging out with versus who I hang out with now, it's very different.
Yeah, because it's like anything where, you know, you just kind of like find your people within it. So were you like a comedy nerd growing up?
Definitely, like I watched stand-up and enjoyed stand-up. But I think really got into it like college when I started doing it. I was like, oh, this is sick, and I started like analyzing and trying to like really get to like the nitty gritty. And now like, and I'm sure you can relate to this. Now that we just do it consistently, like, I mean, I can talk about comedy and like my thoughts and stuff for like hours. Like, it is my favorite thing to talk about. It's just like, which is why I think like comics get along so well. Because my roommates and I were just like talking like shop basically for the past this morning for like an hour or whatever. But yeah, I'm a big comedy nerd now. I'm like really try to listen to stuff and try to, because I feel like it's like one of the only ways you can really get better. Besides the mics and the grind, it's like you gotta listen to people you really like and see what they're doing and see how you can emulate that.
So who were your favorite comics early on?
Early on, I was a huge Dave Chappelle guy. And I think anyone who doesn't agree that Killing Them Softly and For What It's Worth are like
two of the best specials ever.
Legitimately, two of the best specials ever. Like, those two specials, that was like one of the first specials I watched where I was like, oh, this is like the greatest.
I had For What It's Worth on my iPod.
As you should.
Yeah.
As, like, literally, I think that's my favorite comedy special. I just rewatched it. How Old is 15 Really? That bit is unreal. Yeah. And he has the Michael Jackson bit in that, too.
I gotta rewatch that.
Oh, my God. So... They have the jokes like, what if like the cure to cancer was Michael Jackson like sucking Michael, we need you to suck. Not again, I'm not sure you did. It's such a funny
he's one of those people where like you see his influence.
Oh yeah.
In so many comics.
Yes.
Like you see like especially like early Gerard Carmichael.
Oh yeah.
It's Chappelle.
Well, like literally, yeah. It's interesting. There's different classes that have like the blueprints of who. So people before it's like Pryor, and then you have people where they're imitating like Chappelle and Rock, and then you have people who are like trying to do Louis C.K. and now more recently in Manhattan it's like Shane Gillis.
I was just in Maine doing some shows.
Yeah.
Every local comic sounded exactly like Shane Gillis, and I said that so I was opening for Mike Cannon, and I said that to him. I was like, everyone here sounds like Shane Gillis. And he was like, it's not just here. It's everywhere. Because like, he tours around the country. Yeah. He's like, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
That's just who they're doing now. He was like, when I started, it was Dane Cook, then it was Bill Burr, now it's Shane. Like,
yeah, and it's fascinating seeing the influences, and I think that's what makes you, and your style is just you take from a bunch of different comics and it makes who you are. But when I first started, of course I wanted to be Chappelle. And when you first start comedy, you don't even understand like what a joke is or how he's doing that. So it was a lot of rants. It was a lot of like, this is my point. And I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? There's nothing funny in this.
No, so wait, so who else was
Big influence, huge Joe List fan. So probably
I can see that.
Probably like my second year here in New York,
Liam and I have actually talked about that.
Oh, really?
You sound like Joe List.
I'm such a huge Joe List. People have told me. I did a show in San Francisco. Hitler was drinking Mountain Dew. And I got off stage at the show in San Francisco, and this guy was like, "You a big Joe List fan?" I'm like, of course I am." And he's like, "You sound like him." I know. Yeah. And you wear your influences on your sleeve. But for me, like Joe List is such a perfect example of like, here's how you write a great joke and you be silly while being personal. And then recently, I was like, I guess the past year, I'm like such a huge Rory Scovel fan. Like, who isn't?
He's so good.
So good. And I'm like, how can I try to be more improvisational and be more present in the moment? How can I be more silly and ridiculous with kind of talking about stuff? And then most recently, I've listened to a lot of Rory with Junior.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's unbelievably I think he's one of the most underrated comedians. Obviously, very successful. No one talks about him that much. He should be in the conversations with Gillis, with all these other people.
Yeah, he's unreal. He might be the best comedian working right now.
You know what? And I'm not. Yeah, I actually might even agree with that. It's
there's
crazy.
a very strong case for that. He's so good. I watched his new special.
It's unreal.
It's unreal.
The ending bit is like crazy.
Dude, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's so smart, so insightful, so thoughtful.
So him and the punches and the joke structure. It's like, dude, how are you doing that all? It's crazy. It's like seeing early Chappelle, where you're like, he's mixing in the comedy with the points, with his his perspective. He's making things reference like with topical stuff and how do you make it evergreen. Roy Wood Jr. might be, I totally agree. His Bubble Man bit at the end of his most recent special.
Yeah.
10-minute bit about this.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so good.
So good. 10-minute bit where you're like, this is the perfect bit.
Yeah, I think Roy Scovel might be the person I'm emulating most.
Right now?
About. Yeah. I was just thinking, so I did these shows in Maine and so they had, these it's a big weed state, so they had these THC drinks at the bar. And so before the first show, sometimes I like to drink tea,
Yeah.
And so I was like, do you have any tea? The bartender was like, we have this THC iced tea. And I was like, I might get one after my set.
Yeah.
And so after my set, after the early show, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get one. And then the late show was just like a showcase, so Mike Cannon didn't stay, and he was like, do you guys want to smoke a joint after the show? And I'm like, well, if the headliner's asking me to smoke a joint with him,
yes,
I'm gonna smoke. So then we smoked 2 joints outside,
yeah,
and I just drank this THC iced tea. So I'm like so high, and I think which used to freak me out performing high, but I kind of was just like, okay, I'm gonna be funny in the way that I'm funny when I'm high.
Sure.
Which is very loose. And I was still doing bits, but it was also being very loose, being very in the moment. And I did the same thing on the Late Show, where the Late Show the next night was opening for Mike Cannon, but I was just like, I drank a THC iced tea before, and I was like, I'm gonna be loose. And I did a lot of crowd work, which I don't normally do.
Yeah.
And was just riffing a lot and just being, and I think that, but while still doing my bits. And so which is part of what I think makes Rory Scovel so great. And I know he's done, he has that fully improvised special, which is great. And, he's able to come up with incredible bits on the spot. But also, having seen him live, you see what I love about him and his style of stand-up is the mix of improv and great written material.
Yeah, I mean, he is the go-to that.
And I think Pete Holmes is really good at that.
I actually listened to a lot of Pete Holmes.
He's somebody, I think for a long time I would have said he was my favorite comedian.
Okay.
And he's one of the people I credit as getting me to do stand-up.
Yeah.
Listening to his podcast, He Made It Weird, and the show Crashing, both of those things I was really into when I started stand-up in college. And, so Pete Holmes and John Mulaney were two of the guys for me.
John Mulaney, I think, is the foundation for so many people when they start stand-up.
Yeah, for people of our generation,
Yeah.
I think that he's the guy. It's funny seeing in Manhattan it's Shane Gillis, and then in Brooklyn it's Mulaney. Yeah, in terms of who people are emulating the most.
In Brooklyn it's John Early though. If we're really gonna get down to it, it's John Early and Cat Cohen, I think.
Yeah.
John Early is kind of the godfather of Brooklyn comedy, it seems.
He really is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I love talking to people about who do you think are the people that influence to your styles, because what ends up happening is that in 10 years from now you're gonna have your potentially. I mean, even now you already start to have your voice, but it is a combination of your favorite comedians.
Well, and that's why I try to listen to as many different comedians as possible, because I never want to fall into the trap of you sound so much like this guy.
Yeah.
Even just this past weekend, seeing people where I'm they're good, but they sound exactly like Shane Gillis. And so I'm just I never want to be in that position. I want, if somebody's you remind me of John Mulaney.
Yes.
I'm oh my God, thank you, I love him. But if somebody's what, really, it's not exactly like him. I'm oh, that's not great. So one thing I used to do a lot, haven't done it as much, is I would go on Apple Music and just listen to a comedian's entire discography from their first to most recent album. And
even if you didn't fuck with it.
mainly only with comedians I like
Okay.
fucked with in some way. There's definitely been some people where I'm trying to think if there's anybody I've done that with and been like, I really don't like that. No, I don't think so. But like,
Yeah.
it's really great when you do it with like I did it with like the classics, like Carlin and Pryor.
Dude.
Because they're people where like obviously like I wasn't around to experience them, and a lot of comedy does not hold up, and so you see like a lot of like Pryor. I think more so that like Carlin has some bits that are so classic
Yeah.
that like Place for My Stuff, like that bit, like the words you can't say on TV.
Most of his political takes too, for the most part, are pretty still accurate.
They're still accurate. A lot of them aren't funny.
Yeah, it's a lot of ranting.
And then Pryor, it's kind of like, oh my god, his energy on stage, even where I'm like, I don't really get a lot of the jokes because there's so many references that I obviously don't understand. I'm like, if I was in the room, I'd be cracking up.
I think Pryor has his holding power too. Like, it's so much older, but there's some bits in there where you're like, damn, that's a great bit.
He has
great stories that are always evergreen.
He has one bit that I don't know like what album it's on or like where I found it, but because I haven't been able to like re-find it, but it was like you're like so heartbroken you can't even listen to music. Like Blue Suede Shoes comes on, you're like, my baby used to have shoes.
Yes. So good. I mean, Pryor, I mean, those guys are just the good. And then it's interesting, you do hear older comedians and the stuff doesn't hold up, and they're like, and this maybe is a controversial take, I think Sam Kinison stuff does not hold up at all.
No, it does not.
It's like
Bill Hicks too.
Bill Hicks holds up a little more, less so, but Sam Kinison's like,
Lenny Bruce doesn't.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, Lenny Bruce is like, I have tried to listen to him and I remember one time trying to listen to him and just falling asleep. Like, you're like, as a comic and a lover of comedy, I have to respect his influence, but it does not. You know who stand-up holds up? Woody Allen. Have you listened to stand-up?
And his beliefs and everything, I think, stand up. Actually, I don't think I've ever listened to Woody Allen stand up.
It's good. It's a lot of like absurd stories.
Okay, I'll go to listen.
It's funny. I met an older comic when I first started stand-up, and the influence, I was like asking him like his influences and like the people for his time was like Bill Cosby and Woody Allen.
Yeah, well, Bill Cosby, I'm sorry, as much as he's a monster, God, his stand-up is really
good. It's amazing.
So good.
It's like...
It's like, dude, he has a whole dentist bit where you're like, this is the greatest dentist bit of all time.
Yeah, that Spanish fly bit is crazy.
Awesome. I mean, he's a monster. To be clear, he is a monster.
Yeah.
But God, those albums are fucking unreal. And he has some clean hours, too, where he's just...
It's all clean.
Yeah, I can't believe that shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how are you so... Same with, I guess less so, because it doesn't... But, Brian Regan's all clean, and you listen to some of his stuff,
great.
And you're like, God damn.
It's really impressive when somebody's able to be clean and that fun. Jim Gaffigan is another one of my favorites.
Dude, I didn't even realize he was clean most of my life. And then I was like, listening to his albums, like, this is clean, and it's like so funny, so punchy.
And he only talks about 5 topics.
And he crushes
every single.
And 4/5 of them are about food. Let's be honest. 80% is food, but he's awesome.
All right, well, let's get back to you, because I feel like now we're just like nerding out about comedy.
It's not a good podcast.
Like this is like it's the comedy equivalent of like that like the trope of like guys will just sit around naming random athletes.
And Maria Bamford, her prime.
She's great. I saw her do a 10 a.m. show at BCC.
Holy shit! I wanted to go to that.
Yes, so good.
I saw that.
Okay.
Yes.
So you grew up in the Bay Area, Palo Alto.
Yeah,
what were you like as a kid?
I was. Oh, good question. What was I like? I was very in touch with my emotions as a kid. That's what my mom was always telling me. She was like, "You would tell people how you feel and why you feel that way." And then I would say I was like pretty silly, goofy, and I had anger issues too. Those were like the 3 traits.
Yeah, me too.
I had bad anger issues.
Yeah. What'd you do?
It was violent. I would hit kids, and I was like watching like Naruto at the time, so I was like trying those moves on people.
You do the Naruto run?
I would do the Naruto run. It was embarrassing, man. It was a bad time in my life. Yeah.
Did you go to anger management?
My parents sent me to therapy, to like kid therapy for anger.
I did that too. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
And it did work. Like it really did. I feel like I'm definitely more chill now.
Do you still have you still got a temper? You still?
It will come up if I'm really frustrated. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I'm able to let things go. Like little things used to really get to me, but I don't know where the anger manifests from like repeated failure now.
Yeah, I get that.
Like if I'm playing basketball and you score like 20 unanswered points to me, I'll start getting like really mad.
Oh, dude, I get so pissed during basketball sometimes.
It comes out a lot during competition.
There's so many times where like I even like just like playing pickup where like I will like if I like miss it, I'll like punch the wall.
Oh yeah.
Like and I'm like, well, that's why there's padding there. I mean, I know really it's like in case you like are like falling, like that's why. But I'm like, there's padding on the wall. It's for me to punch.
No, I definitely. It comes out a lot during sports for sure. But for the most part, I'm pretty chill. And I'm impressed with myself sometimes how I'm able to feel like I can restrain myself.
Yeah.
I feel a bubble in that.
Do you feel like, because I feel this way, do you feel like you have to, there's times where you're like, I just have to not care about this thing, because if I care at all, I'm going to care way too much and be really upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to learn to let go of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like so important.
Okay, so what were you interested in, like as a child?
What was I interested in? I was a big like Digimon fan. I was a nerd as a kid. A real nerd. I really didn't get into sports until like college, and then I was like, oh, sports is awesome. But video game nerdy. I was like into trains as a kid. I guess I got like fucked with like hanging out with my friends and playing Halo. Nothing like super interesting. I think my development, like my interest in comedy, probably started when I was a little bit older. What about you? What were you interested in?
I was interested in like fantasy.
Okay.
Like I love like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. Like I was really into like Marvel comics. Like
yeah, I was big into Star Wars. I liked the designs and stuff.
yeah.
I'm like drawing a lot.
I just found out that all the like the original Star Wars movies, all the like stage like the scenery, it's all like hand painted.
Yeah.
All
Like, the old
of those like
movies.
establishing shots, like it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But yes, I was super into like fantasy, science fiction as a kid. I got into sports. I got into basketball like in middle school, and then kind of like didn't really give a shit about any other sports.
Yeah.
And like still really don't.
Yeah.
I like going to baseball games.
Yeah, but you do like going to baseball games to like hang out?
Yeah, I like going to baseball games to hang out.
Drink a beer, how about that?
Yeah. And then what else did I do? Yeah, those were the main ones. I loved to like play as characters. Like I had this friend, and we would just be like Frodo and Sam and just reenact the Lord of the Rings together.
I think I would do that too. I had a real imagination as a kid. I think I was very I like doing voices and pretending to be all these characters for sure. And it's interesting. I think as you get older, like you're kind of like shunned away from that.
They kind of like beat it out at you.
Yeah.
As, like
I've like lost a lot of that, which is a real shame.
I think that like great art comes from being able to hold on to that. Like I'm a big fan of the Beatles, and I was listening to them recently, and I was just thinking about like they just have these incredible imaginations. Like Paul McCartney, like the shit he's saying, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? Like none of these people, me and Mr. Mustard, Polythene Pan, like none of these people are real. No character in a Beatles song is a real person for the most part, and it's just like they have these incredible imaginations that like they were, and I mean they were young when they made that music, like they're in their 20s, but like they're holding the ability to hold on to that childlike imagination is, I think, something that we don't appreciate enough as a society.
I absolutely agree, and I think people are gonna lose that more and more as social media becomes more and more prevalent. I think it's like you have a camera in your face all the time, and people are making fun of you online. It's like you feel really restricted.
Yeah, because a lot of the imagination, it comes from a lack of self-consciousness.
Yeah.
Like once you start to feel self-conscious or insecure, then the imagination goes away because then it's like inhibited by these outside forces. Yeah,
it sucks.
Where like when you're just playing as a kid, like when you're like playing as a kid with you don't care about like if the story you're making up makes any sense.
No,
like,
not at all.
It's fully free.
You're like eating dirt as a kid too.
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna eat
like if you gotta be able to harness the imagine. You know, it's like taking the good parts of the childhood.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
I'm
a real shame, man. And it's funny, you know, stand-up, it's like, my favorite type of stand-up is the stuff that's like kind of absurd and weird. And you feel pretty judged when you come up with a bit, like in Manhattan, and you're like, this is kind of weird, and you do it, and people are like, what? And you're like, oh, I guess that was like... That's the highest level of judgment. It's literally people in front of you not laughing, and you're like, oh, God. And but you gotta keep on fighting through it, because the best stuff is kind of the crazy.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Yeah, that was my answer to the question.
So what about like later, like in high school?
Let's see, high school, I think I was still nerdy, but I had a real sense of like, I just wanted to fit in. So I was one of those kids who was like, I was like hanging out with the popular kids, and then I'd hang out with the nerds, and then I'd hang out with like the sports. I would just kind of go around. I didn't have like a friend group until maybe my like junior or senior year.
Yeah, that was very similar.
Yeah, where like I actually had people who were like, oh, we're all kind of like weird and like we're like okay with that.
Yeah,
I was very much like a chameleon where I'm like, I just need to like whatever parts of the people that like, I'll just be that for them.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up feeling like really alone. Like you feel like incredibly alone.
You feel like you're friends with everyone, but you also have no friends. You have no friends.
Time. You're like, I'm a different person, every single person. This sucks.
Yeah. Were you funny?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've always tried to be, because that's like the one unifier between everything. If you make people laugh, it's like, oh, we're kind of like all getting along.
Right, and I think you find that a lot with like comedians of like that. It's not people who were like popular in high school, but people who were like able to get along well with everyone. Because yeah, it's true. If you can make people laugh, people are gonna like you.
Yeah.
Like, or at least like having you around.
And and I think almost every comedian has this where you're like, I need everyone to like me.
Yeah.
And you're like, please.
It's like
you're doing everything.
So back to like, not to keep bringing up shows I did this past weekend, but one of the late shows, I was killing for half the room.
Yeah.
Like the people that were into it they were really loving it.
Yeah.
But I just could not focus on that half of the room.
Yeah.
I was like me.
Yeah. But it's kind of interesting comedy. It's like someone like Patrice O'Neal split the room. But the people who got him were like, this guy's the best.
Yeah.
And so I think you kind of have to start to learn to compromise a little bit. That's what I've been trying to learn. It's like, I want to be as funny as possible and accessible, but there's some bits that aren't for certain people.
There's just not, and I mean, that's the thing, like with everything. It's just nothing is going to be for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want to try to appeal, but at some point you got to like take your risk to be like, well, I like doing this, and for the most part, this is generally liked, so I'm going to try.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like high school, I was like, didn't know who I was trying to like fit in with everyone, and as a result, I was trying to be very funny, or not very funny, I tried to be funny. And in college, I think I kind of know who I am a little bit better, and so I wasn't like tolerating as much bullshit.
Did you have sex in high school?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's surprising. Not for you. Not surprising for you. Just comedians in general, I feel like, are usually people that didn't have sex in high school.
I had a girlfriend in my senior year. I had sex my senior year. But I was like a bad boyfriend. I look back and I was like,
were you a bad boyfriend?
I was just talking to my friends about this. I was like so porn brained when I was in high school, and the way I like treated my girlfriend and the way I like viewed sex was like so stupid. And then like you literally just like to get older and you're like, what the fuck was that? That was crazy that I was thinking.
Is anybody a good boyfriend when they're 17?
Like, no.
Yeah.
I guess I did have. Did you have sex in high school?
No.
Did you have sex in college?
I lost my virginity the summer before college.
Oh, that counts.
It counts as
that's
high
high
school.
school. Yeah, it's high school adjacent.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
But I did other stuff.
Yeah.
Before that.
Oh, you were like fingering and.
Oh yeah, I was doing the other things.
Wait, I think that's more impressive. Because I hadn't done any of that stuff. I just kind of went straight to sex, and I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I guess I mean, looking back on it, I'm like, that is actually better, and it's also
You're
like,
more well-rounded.
Well, it's so funny because I don't know if you felt this, but I remember being in high school, like once my friends started having sex, being like scared of like, what if I never have sex?
Yeah, it's such a big topic at the moment.
It's like, you're gonna be fine. Like, you'll have plenty of
Well,
sex.
there are some people who will never have sex. I mean, there are some people. You're like talking to a guy, and you're like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Unless you change everything, it's not gonna happen.
Oh.
But it's, you know, in a funny way, like sex is kind of this thing where it forced me to like lock in a little bit, like on being like normal. A little bit. In high school, I was like, I gotta be a little more normal. I gotta stop playing so many video games.
I had such a fear of like not being normal, like when to be like I was somebody where I'm like I should have done theater. Like
yeah.
I've always like I loved like doing characters and voices and like playing pretend and like always wanted to act and like be a performer of some kind. But I was like I just wanted to be cool and like play basketball, which I was not good at.
Me neither.
Like that's also what's crazy because it's like what's cool and like especially like so much of like being cool is like so that girls will think you're cool. But what girls and anyone thinks is cool is when somebody is good at something. And like in high school, the thing that just is rewarded the most is sports. And so you see that as being like, well, if I do that, then I'll. But like, you're not getting pussy for being bad at basketball. Like
he's a bench warmer.
Yeah.
That was very true.
And bench, you warm in the bench. Want to warm something else?
Ooh, it's so true, man. Girls really do like if you're good at something. I was at a bar like 3 weeks ago, and in comes a guy, one arm holding a unicycle, one arm around a girl.
He's probably nice at unicycle.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, what the fuck is this? But he's like, yeah, he's probably good at unicycle, and that's what is the correlation. And I think in high school when you're younger, you just don't understand that's what that is, and then as you get older, you like, oh, if you're comfortable with yourself and you like who you are, people will gravitate towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me too long to realize. Like I wish I had done theater. I wish I did stuff like that. But I was like, no,
It is crazy.
I'm gonna wrestle. Why am I doing this?
I wonder. Yeah, because it seems like there are people that either realize that earlier on, or they just don't care about it.
I think they are very much like I just like doing.
I just want to do the things I want to do, and.
But I think that takes a high level of maturity.
It really does, and I did not have that.
Yeah.
You know.
I literally did not have that until I was like the end of college, and then I was like, oh, I can like choose to do stuff I want to do. And I was like, oh, it's like way better.
Yeah, I think doing stand-up was kind of the first thing that made me feel that way.
Totally.
Like, oh, you can just do what you... Or, like, occasionally in high school, like, I would, like, write poems in English class and be like... People would be like, well, these are good. And I'd be like... It was, like, the first time that I'd ever, been like, oh, my God, I'm good at something. Like,
yeah.
And then I went to college and was like, I'm a poet. And I've written, like, 5 poems. And, and then I would meet people who were, like, in my English classes who were, like, good at poetry and like cared about it, and I was like, I'm not good at poetry. I was like, I'm fine. I'm like, I can like technically do it. I can technically write a poem, but I'm like not a poet.
Yeah. Well, do you still ever re-explore doing poetry?
Not in a long time. Not really since college. Maybe like a little bit post college.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get back into writing more because I took I studied English, so it's like. I had a lot of writing assignments, and then it's sort of like once those assignments disappear, it's like it's kind of like when I stopped taking guitar lessons. Like I still have a guitar, I can technically play guitar, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's
you need like an extra motivation.
Yeah, and that's which is part of why I'm like I just want to do because I'm like stand-up's the one thing where I'm like I don't need any motivation to do it. I just want to do it.
Yeah. And it is really rare. Once you find that thing, it's like you should stay with that thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to do something, you should just do it. Because that is like how you get, I don't know, the closest to being someone happy, I think. But without getting too sad, like sentimental about that. But
we have like matching elbow scars.
Oh, do we?
Where's yours from?
I fell on a skateboard and it got infected.
Damn.
What was yours?
I got hit by a car.
Oh, that's way cooler.
No, it's not.
I fell down some stairs. You got hit by. I mean, it's not cooler, but.
When was yours?
Oh shit. Sophomore year of college, summer 2020.
Oh, okay. Mine was like freshman year of high school.
Can I see it? You got hit by and what happened?
I was like, so my parents owned a store that was like near my high school.
Yeah.
And so I was like I would like go there after school. And so I was just crossing the street and just did not. I didn't look.
Fast
or
like?
Probably like 30, 40 miles an hour.
Shit.
Yeah, I like flipped over the windshield, like shattered the windshield. I got 6 stitches, which is kind of nothing.
That was it?
Yeah, and I had a concussion, but like a pretty minor one.
You got hit at 30, 40 miles per hour?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I felt so bad too because then when the driver comes, because it was completely my fault.
Yeah.
It was an Asian woman.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, nobody's gonna believe her. That's her fault.
Because she's a woman. Not because she's Asian. She's a woman. That's not getting into this. I Cooper Caleb to approve this message. Holy shit. Whoa, and this was in
9th grade. I was like 14, 15.
Oh my god, dude. Do you think that experience affected how you viewed life at all? Like, have you like, I don't know. I feel like we have a near-death experience and then you're like, oh, I should like prioritize my time a little bit better.
A little bit. I've had a couple, like, because I got into a bad car accident my junior year of high school as well.
Oh shit.
That time I was driving.
Oh shit.
And that time it was that was not my fault.
Like you hydroplaned or something, or?
No, it was just an intersection, and the other driver like ran a red light and
T-bones.
hit me. We went into a pole, and the pole kind of like stopped the car, but also like totaled it.
Oh shit.
But yeah, that one also. Me and my friend were in the car. We were like fine, but
damn. Well, do you think those experiences have like I imagine has had some sort of major impact on? I found that a lot of comics, like, there is some sort of trauma that has, like, I guess given them some sort of level of maturity or insight into things.
I think so. I mean, I think my brother dying was probably the
one.
bigger one. But yeah, I think.
When did that happen?
That was when I was 16.
Okay.
So that was kind of in between these two things.
Yeah.
So.
It was sandwiched in between the two
car accidents. Yeah, so I think that's probably the biggest one where I think that it's weird. I was kind of writing about this recently where like when you experience something like that, it like you like grow up faster.
For sure.
But also it like stunts your growth at the same time.
It absolutely does.
Like there's a level of emotional maturity, but also there's like a level of like I am actually just always 16 now.
Yeah.
And like you're just kind of stunted at that age, but also more emotionally. It's a very odd combination of things. What about you? What do you think was the thing for you?
Yeah, my dad died when I was like 10. So
oh, really? Sure. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's like the main one where it's like, and to your point, like I think I am way more comfortable with the idea of death, and like when I have conversations with that, like I'm like I get it almost. But I have daddy issues for sure.
Yeah.
And that has affected my life.
How so?
I like want the approval of men. That sounds weird, but I did want the approval of like older men in my life so badly, like coaches for sports and teachers and all this stuff. And I was missing this void in my life of like love, basically.
Yeah.
So I was seeking that through different things, and I wanted the approval, and that's probably why I do stand up to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, I need to be funny. Aren't you proud of me, Dad?
Right.
That type of stuff. So the trauma is most certainly there, but I do think I have like I have a better perspective on life, and I think I have like an urgency to things and understand like, you know, and like with your brother's death, you know, there's like you just learn a lot in those moments where you're like, okay, here's like the bullshit, here's like what matters, here's what doesn't, and here's like how to approach talk about these things when it matters. No one wants to talk about it, but like death is a huge part of life, obviously, that we should kind of talk about.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And it's funny that you mentioned, you know, with your dad dying, that you want like these sort of like father figures. I have that, but like with like older brother figures.
That's so
where
funny.
it's funny.
It's like really funny.
It's so like just guys who are
beat me up
a little
beat me up and play
just guys who are like 2 to 15 years older than me. And it happens so much in comedy because you make friends with like people, and like I do think that there's part of that where like I mean I think most of the people I've had on the podcast are guys who are like could be my older brother, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
you're like, please.
It's just like it's
Give me a noogie, please. God damn it.
Have you done Michael Walsh's
podcast? I just did it like I don't know, maybe a month ago or something. It was really cool. It was cool to talk about, and it's, you know, for you it's been what, 13 years then?
Yeah, just hit the 13-year.
For me it's been 15, and you think it's not really, you don't ever really get over it, but you think about it less, obviously. But sometimes you revisit it and you're like, I completely forgot that was a thing, and that like impacted me this way. And so when I was talking to Michael about it, I was like, oh fuck, I have all this stuff that happened like really talked about it in a while.
Yeah, I definitely had that feeling when I did his podcast as well. And it's, me and my parents, we try and always spend like, his birthday together, and like the anniversary of his death, which is like sandwiched between mine and my mom's birthdays. We try and spend those days together. And it is nice, especially because like my mom is a writer and writes about this, that like to be able to be like reflective of it on those days where like you do really think about it less the further you get away from it, and it just kind of becomes a normal like fact of your life.
It's just a fact, and it's important to tell people.
Yeah,
you gotta let people know, so they're like, oh, that's why you're doing that. You're like,
yeah.
So
it does really. It explains
a lot.
So, and it's funny because then you where I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even know your dad was dead. I've heard you talk about your mom so much.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and I've had the same thing where people are like, oh, that's why you always say my brother was.
Yeah,
like that's why where people have literally been like, I thought you guys like weren't close anymore, like or something.
It's yeah, totally. Like you do bits, and you were kind of like walking around it, stepped up. Like people growing up, they'd be like, "Oh, what do your parents do?" And I'm like, "Well, my mom, she's a doctor, and my dad, he's traveled." Like I'll just be like, he's around somewhere. You just like make it up because you don't want to like bum people out. But the older you get, it's like kind of important information.
Yeah.
Someone tells me they have a dead relative in their life. I'm like, okay, I get where you're. Like, I have a sense of what's happening now. Like it's important info. I was trying to write a joke about this, which will never work, but. The question that we always ask in icebreakers are like, what's a fun fact about yourself? We should be asking who's dead in your family. I feel like it's like
that's funny.
It's like way more relevant.
Yeah, it is so much more relevant.
I mean, I don't care if you like went to Spain this summer. I'm like, okay,
right.
Your dad's dead. God, okay. I want to get a beer with this guy. Like he's gonna be open to new experiences. But yeah, do you joke about it? Do you try to like? I mean, I've heard jokes about it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to write more about it. I'm trying to like find more places where I can do longer sets because it's obviously like
it's a minute 10 type of joke. It's you gotta be a little bit in there.
It's like it's gotta be at least like a 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that like you really gotta be doing like a half hour at least to be really diving deep into that stuff just to have like the space for it. So I'm trying to figure that out. And figure out ways to write more of that. Maybe doing it as like a solo show just as an excuse to like try out that material.
I mean, it's a great way to do it, and I think it helps you explore. One of the things that I've found so interesting is like I try to talk about my dad's death directly, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of hard to get into, whatever. And so now I've been trying to talk about my mom more and more, and I'm like journaling about it. And I'm like, oh, there's so much like shit I have to talk about with my mom that's related to my dad's death. And almost, I feel like I haven't figured any of it out. But I'm like, if I talk more about my mom, I think it's going to make it easier to talk about this other stuff.
I think I agree with that actually, and I think that being able to talk about my brother more, I think it came from having jokes about my parents and being able to talk about them and just talk about things that are related. So the idea for like the show that I'm starting to write is called Love, Death, and Dogs.
Yeah. And
so it's just like talking about like relationships and, I'm still trying to figure out how to work dogs in there, but
you have the title before.
So
that's it's pretty funny. Do you not have anything with dogs? Why is dogs in there?
I love dogs.
Oh, come on.
I have no. Here, I'll explain. I'll explain.
Okay.
So the common theme is like love and death, and that's the theme of having a dog. Is like you love this animal.
Yeah. And
then it dies.
Yeah.
And that's just what happens.
Okay.
And so that's the same. That's the same as a relationship, where like you love this person,
right? And
then the relationship ends.
Yeah.
And that's when you lose a person in your life. So the joke that started the connection was that like people say a breakup is like a death, and it is, but it's more like a dog dying.
Yeah.
Like you're sad, but you're gonna get another one. Which does not do well on its own, but in the context of like larger bits does.
Yeah, so totally. Okay, I see the connection now.
Yeah.
That's just really fun. You can do a lot of analogy stuff.
Yeah, it's in the early stages. Like I've really just,
Yeah. If you were to do a one-man show, would you want to do a half hour or would you want to do a full hour?
I think I'd start with a half hour.
Yeah.
And then probably, maybe like work it into an hour.
It blows my mind that people are, the idea, obviously the goal is to have an album where it's an hour, or 45 to an hour, and I'm like, 30 is like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how, and the more you do stand-up, I'm guessing it kind of piece it together, but
I mean, I've done a half hour enough times now that I know.
Oh shit!
that-
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, I've done it probably 5 times.
Whoa!
Yeah.
In New York?
Only once in New York,
Okay.
and I've done it in Maine, and in Vermont, and in Massachusetts.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
but that's only been in like the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think the most I've done is 25,
Yeah.
and that was like I was not really ready for 25, but we did it. So I guess that's only another 5. But
Yeah, but anyway, I think we gotta wrap up.
Okay, let's go.
We're a little over time, but let me just ask you before we wrap up. Why aren't you more famous?
I guess I haven't tried to be. I'm not really putting myself in the opportunities to become more famous. Shit, I guess this is the one question I should have an answer to before I came here. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm trying to like make content, I guess, that maybe propels some sort of fame, but I'm not like. I don't think I'm like chasing it. And I think people who are famous have chased it somewhat.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just like not good enough. I'm not good enough at stand up yet, but once it happens, just you wait. That's the point. That's the goal, I guess.
Cooper Kim.
Adam Mitrani. Okay, cool. Sick. That was fun, man.
Thank you. Yeah.